I'm sure most of you have seen the Tyson Fury Wladimir Klitschko press conference, and I just want to give my thoughts on it. I want to give my thoughts on Tyson Fury's mindset going into the fight and his body language and the way that he looked at the press conference and also at the photo shoots when they were in the stadium sitting next to each other, face off and all that kind of stuff. Because sometimes these kind of things can give you clues and give you signs and give you an insight into the mindset and the inner workings of a fighter's head. And when you're dealing with a fighter who is about to step up to the big stage for the first time, as Tyson Fury is, this will be his first world title fight, whereas Klitschko's been in numerous world title fights, obviously, over a long period. When you got a fighter like Fury, who's stepping up to the big stage for the first time, these kind of little telltale signs could be significant. Now, some people are saying that Fury looked confident. Other people are saying that Fury looked nervous, that he was worried. I think it's a little bit more complex than both of those things. You know, it all comes down to personality types. Because I don't care how confident a fighter is. The first time they fight for a world title, there's going to be nerves there. In fact, most times, even when they defend their title, there's going to be nerves. But certainly the first time they fight for a world title, there's going to be nerves. When Mike Tyson fought Trevor Berbick, he was nervous. When Muhammad Ali fought Sonny Liston, he was nervous. You get what I'm saying? So there's going to be nerves, obviously. But as I say, fighters have got different coping mechanisms depending on their personality type. And one of the warning signs that something is not quite right with a fighter, or that the fighter is going to implode or potentially going to implode, is if the fighter acts out of character. But that's not what I see with Tyson Fury. I don't see him acting out of character at the press conference. I see Tyson Fury being himself. He's always outspoken and talks a lot of trash and is quite hostile towards his opponents, particularly if he feels threatened by his opponent. Some fighters are like that. When they're in a fighting environment, when they feel a threat, they become very aggressive, hyper aggressive. Tyson Fury is one of those kind of guys. Tony Bellew is another one of those kind of guys. Muhammad Ali, to a great extent, was like that. And there's actually a lot of similarities between Muhammad Ali's personality type. And I've said this before. Some people might not like it. I'm not saying Fury is as good as Ali, obviously not. I'm just talking about the way that his mind works in a fighting situation. There's a lot of parallels between Tyson Fury's mind and Muhammad Ali's mind. When Muhammad Ali fought Liston, apparently behind the scenes, he was petrified of Liston. So what he did is, Muhammad Ali was always an outspoken guy anyway. He was always talking trash to his opponents even before he got the Liston fight. But when he got the Liston fight, he felt so much of a threat from Liston that it wasn't just a case of trying to intimidate Liston with crazy antics. It was also a way of trying to convince himself that he could beat Liston and trying to diminish the threat and disarm Liston as a threat in his own mind. And he did that by talking down to Liston, by ridiculing him, by making him a subject of fun and ridicule, calling him ugly, calling him slow, calling him old, calling him this, that, and the other. And that was Muhammad Ali's way of psychologically overcoming Liston before he got in the ring with him. That was Ali's thing. And Tyson Fury's the same. Particularly when he feels threatened by his opponent, he's going to talk even more smack. He's going to be even more aggressive. Because he don't want to see that opponent the way that a lot of people see that opponent. Especially, you know, Klitschko being a good example. People see Klitschko as this intimidating, big, strong, chiseled, experienced fighter, one-punch knockout power. He's a super athlete. He's got so much experience in the bag and whatnot. He's been on the big stage so many times. He owns them arenas out there in Germany. He's seen as this monolithic type figure in the heavyweight division. Tyson Fury don't want to look at Klitschko like that, because if he looks at Klitschko like that, he knows in his own mind that he's going to start to doubt himself. So his way of coping and trying to overcome that is by belittling Klitschko verbally until he believes it himself. It's not really about trying to convince Klitschko of what he's saying. He's trying to convince himself. And as I say, that's not out of character for Fury. If it was out of character for him to do that, I think he'd need to worry. But this is what Fury does. This is his personality type. Again, that's like I say, that's how Muhammad Ali used to cope with his fights. Anytime Ali felt the most threatened, that's when he talked the most trash. Going into the Foreman fight, he was very heated. The stuff he was saying about George Foreman. Same with the Liston fight, because he felt so much of a threat from those guys that he had to diminish them in his own mind and disarm them in his own mind. So when Fury steps in the ring, yeah, there's going to be nerves, definitely. But after having trained as hard as he's going to train, because he's going to train like a demon for this fight. We're going to see Fury in the best condition of his career. I'm sure of that. He'll be like he was for the David Haye fight, if not in even better condition. In fact, I'm sure that Fury's going to train so hard for this fight that his trainer Peter Fury will probably have to pull him back a little bit and tell him not to overdo it. That might be one of the problems or potential issues leading up to this fight, is Fury might overtrain, because he's going to train like a demon for this one. And yeah, when he gets in the ring, there's going to be nerves leading up to the fight. Even when he's in Wladimir's presence, there's going to be a certain amount of tension, because, as I say, when Tyson Fury feels a threat, which he does feel a threat from Wladimir, his natural instinct is to become aggressive. That's how he is. So yeah, he's going to feel a bit nervous, maybe around Wladimir, or uneasy. He won't feel comfortable until he's punching Wladimir in the face. That's just the kind of personality he is. He's an extrovert. And extroverts tend to explode rather than implode. When you've got an introverted personality type, there's more danger of that person freezing. But when you've got an extrovert personality type, I'm not saying that extroverts don't freeze as well. Sometimes they do. But there's more danger of an introvert freezing than there is of an extrovert. With an extrovert, there's more chance of them exploding and maybe cheating in a fight or fouling in a fight, because they can't control their aggression. Because when they feel threatened, they become hyper aggressive. So they're going to have to, and Johnnie Nelson actually in an IFL TV interview said that he wouldn't be surprised if Tyson Fury actually gets disqualified. And Johnnie Nelson, over the years, from interviews he's done, particularly when it comes to British fighters, he understands their mentality quite well. This is a guy who, after Audley Harrison won the Olympics and was about to turn professional, Johnnie Nelson, I remember, came out, I think it was in the papers somewhere or in an interview somewhere. I read it. I remember I read it or heard him say it, maybe on the radio. He said he doesn't believe Audley Harrison has what it takes to make it as a professional. And that was after Audley Harrison won a gold medal, people. And he was 28 years old. There was seemingly no reason for Johnnie Nelson to say that. But he'd seen enough of Audley Harrison and knew about his personality, and he said, this guy, I don't think has what it takes in a professional game. And I think he understands the kind of personality, the kind of mentality that Tyson Fury has as well. He's an extrovert, and if things are going to go wrong in the fight, it more than likely won't be him freezing. It'll be him doing something dirty or whatever. So yeah, definitely looking forward to this one. Definitely keeping an eye and a watchful gaze on the body language and behavior of both fighters, particularly Fury. Wladimir Klitschko is so experienced at this stage. I I don't think there's anything that Tyson Fury can do before the fight which will affect Wladimir Klitschko's performance in any way. He's seen it, he's been there, he's done it all before. He's had guys talk trash to him. Even recently, Kubrat Pulev was talking a whole heap of trash to Wladimir Klitschko. He was very aggressive towards Klitschko. And Klitschko dealt with him. So in Klitschko's mind, he's seen these kind of antics before. Same from David Haye. He's seen it before. He's not worried by it because he feels like he's been in the same situation previously, and he went in the ring and he silenced the fighters. Silenced those opponents. So, yeah, particularly when it comes to Fury, I'm going to be watching with interest to see how things develop and things go on. Peter Fury is going to be very important as a way of trying to rein Tyson in, preventing him from overtraining and also preventing him from exploding maybe in the ring and doing something illegal if he feels threatened. But Fury's going to try and draw confidence from many things. Like I say, one mechanism that he uses is ridiculing his opponent. And also the fact that Eddie Chambers, his stablemate, has been in the ring with Wladimir Klitschko. And Eddie Chambers, yeah, he got knocked out with one punch, but it was in the 12th round. He nearly went the distance. And I'm sure Fury's going to be thinking to himself, if little Eddie, my friend little Eddie, didn't get knocked out early by Klitschko, the guy who I spar with every day, who's my little buddy, then I definitely ain't getting knocked out early. I can easily emulate what my little buddy Eddie did, but even better because I'm bigger than him. So he's going to be drawing strength and confidence from lots of different places since he doesn't have the experience to be able to draw confidence the way Wladimir does, because he hasn't boxed at the level Vladimir's boxed at. He hasn't faced the level of opposition that Vladimir's faced. That's where Wladimir gets his confidence from. He hasn't even sparred actually the level of quality opponents, quality fighters that Wladimir sparred over the years. So he has to get his confidence from somewhere. And as long as it's nothing out of character, then I don't think people should be that concerned. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to be a bit edgy around Wladimir. That's normal for Fury. So drop your comments below, people. Let me know what you thought about the press conference. What were your thoughts on it? It's happening. I'm out.